A clash at the community pool. It was a scorching July afternoon in suburban Ohio, the kind of day when the heat seemed to press down on you like a heavy blanket. The Riverside Community Pool, a local haven for families seeking relief from the summer sun, buzzed with life. Kids shrieked as they splashed in the shallow end. Teenagers lounged on inflatable rafts, and adults dove into the deep end, their splashes echoing through the air. The smell of sunscreen and chlorine hung thick, mingling with the faint scent of hot pavement from the parking lot. Lifeguards perched on their towers, their whistles cutting through the chaos, keeping order in the crowded oasis. But beneath the surface of this lively scene, a storm was brewing, one that would expose raw tensions and spark a battle over fairness, entitlement, and compassion. Among the throng was Emily, a young girl with curly brown hair pulled into a neat bun. She floated in a bright blue ring, her disability requiring the aid to move safely in the water. The float gave her a sense of freedom, letting her glide through the pool with a quiet joy that lit up her face. Her parents, Tom and Linda, sat nearby, their eyes never straying far from their daughter. For Emily, the pool was a sanctuary, a place where she could feel weightless and unburdened. She bobbed gently, unaware of the eyes beginning to fixate on her. Enter Barbara, a woman in her late 40s with a sharp gaze and an air of impatience. She'd arrived with her two sons, who were busy cannonballing into the deep end. At first, Barbara barely noticed Emily, but as the pool grew more crowded, her attention zeroed in on the girl's float. To Barbara, it was an Isarian oversized, colorful obstruction clogging up the shallow end. She watched as kids swerved to avoid it, their strokes faltering. Her irritation simmered. Why should one person's device take up so much space? In her mind, the pool was for active swimmers, not for someone drifting aimlessly, hogging room others needed. As minutes ticked by, Barbara's frustration morphed into fixation. She muttered to herself, her voice low but sharp. This is ridiculous. That thing's in everyone's way. Her younger son, picking up on her mood, asked what was wrong. That girl's float, she snapped. It's slowing everyone down. Someone needs to do something. Convinced she was voicing the silent majority's grievance, Barbara marched to the lifeguard stand, her flip-flops slapping against the concrete. The lifeguard, a college student named Rachel, looked up as Barbara approached. "Excuse me," Barbara said, her tone clipped. "That girl with the float is causing a problem. It's huge, and it's blocking the pool. You need to get her out." Rachel glanced at Emily, who was smiling as she drifted. "I don't see an issue," Rachel replied calmly. "The float's for her safety, and she's not bothering anyone." Barbara's eyes narrowed. "Safety? It's an inconvenience. People can't swim properly because of her. This is a public pool. Why should one person ruin it for everyone?" Rachel held her ground, but Barbara's voice grew louder, drawing curious glances from nearby swimmers. The air thickened with tension, the carefree hum of the pool now undercut by the edge in her words. Another lifeguard, Mike, joined Rachel, sensing the situation escalating. "Ma'am, Emily has every right to be here," he said firmly. "The float's necessary, and she's not breaking any rules." Barbara scoffed, crossing her arms. "Rules? What about fairness? My kids can't even swim in the shallow end without dodging that thing." The confrontation was now impossible to ignore. A middle-aged woman named Susan, lounging nearby with her children, stood up and approached. "I think you're being unfair," she said, her voice steady but pointed. "That girl's just enjoying the pool like everyone else. Her float helps her stay safe. You don't get to decide who belongs here." Barbara whirled on her. "And who are you?" "I'm speaking for everyone who wants to actually swim. She's blocking the pool, and it's not right." The argument ignited a firestorm. Voices rose as more poolgoers joined in. A man named Greg, who'd been watching from the sidelines, stepped forward. "You need to calm down," he said, his deep voice cutting through the noise. "She's not hurting anyone. If you don't like it, move to another part of the pool." Barbara's face flushed, but she held her ground, her words growing venomous. "This is a public space. I pay to be here, and I shouldn't have to deal with someone taking up space with a ridiculous float." The crowd split, some nodding in agreement with Barbara's complaints about fairness, others rallying behind Emily's right to belong. The lifeguards exchanged uneasy glances, caught in a tug-of-war between policy and pressure. Rachel tried again, her voice firmer. "Ma'am, We're not removing her. The pool's for everyone, including those who need assistance. If you're unhappy, you can move elsewhere, but Emily stays. Barbara's frustration boiled over. Unwilling to back down, she stormed toward Emily's parents, who were watching the scene unfold with growing alarm. "Your daughter's float is a problem," she declared, her voice dripping with accusation. "It's blocking the pool, and she needs to leave." Tom, Emily's father, stood up, his calm demeanor masking his anger. "Her float is for safety," he said evenly. "She has every right to be here, just like you. We've never had an issue before. You're the one making this a problem." Barbara's eyes flashed. "Safety? She's not even swimming. This pool is for active swimmers, not for people lounging in floats. I'll take this to the manager if I have to." Linda, Emily's mother, spoke up, her voice trembling but resolute. "We're here to enjoy the day, same as you. Emily's not hurting anyone. Please, just let it go." But Barbara was undeterred. Muttering, "This isn't over," she marched to the pool office, determined to escalate her crusade. Inside, she faced the manager, a seasoned professional named David. "There's a girl out there with a float that's ruining the pool for everyone," she said, her voice shaking with indignation. "I've talked to the lifeguards, but they won't do anything. I want her gone." David listened patiently, his expression neutral. When she finished, he leaned forward. "I hear your concerns, but our policy is clear. Everyone has equal access to the pool. Emily's float is a safety device, and she's entitled to use it. We won't remove her because you find it inconvenient." Barbara's jaw dropped. "So you're just going to let her ruin everyone's day? I'm paying for this pool, and I demand action." David remained unmoved. "I'm sorry you feel that way, but Emily stays. If you're uncomfortable, you're welcome to use another area of the pool or speak with our customer service team. But we're not asking anyone to leave." Defeated, Barbara's shoulders slumped. She'd fought hard, but the wall of reason was impenetrable. She left the office, her anger simmering, but her options exhausted. Back at the pool, the tension began to dissipate. Swimmers returned to their routines, the sounds of laughter and splashing reclaiming the air. Emily, still floating blissfully, remained unaware of the storm that had raged around her. Her parents exchanged a quiet look of relief, grateful the ordeal was over. Barbara gathered her things, her sons trailing behind her. As she left, she passed Emily one last time, her gaze lingering on the girl's serene smile. For a moment, her resolve wavered, but she said nothing, disappearing into the parking lot. The Riverside Community Pool returned to its vibrant rhythm, a testament to the power of compassion over conflict. Emily's presence, once challenged, stood as a quiet Victoria reminder that every person, regardless of their needs, belongs. The sun dipped lower, casting golden ripples across the water, and for those who'd witnessed the clash, the day carried a deeper meaning, a call to stand up for what's right, even when the loudest voice demands otherwise. What do you think about this story? Have you ever witnessed or experienced injustice or bullying in everyday life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's discuss how we can confront unfairness and build a more inclusive community. Your perspective matters.